Hello. In today's video, I will go over how I use my expeditions to achieve this.
Oi. Oh, ah.
Or this.
Oh,
Fair warning, the strategy is very rippy. Here's me struggling to kill a white mob on a build that can literally one-shot Arbiter, and afterwards being promptly killed by this mob's father. It does require a very strong and a very specific build that can keep its distance. You don't want to be anywhere near the remnant that is gonna produce such loot explosions. The single cornerstone of this strategy is this here little thing.
the Bond rune.
When present in a remnant, it causes it to spawn a shit ton of rares, and also for them to be juicy. And GGG knows about it.
The Bond rune, which is honestly in an unacceptable spot IMO, where it was just spawning like 120 rares during a single remnant encounter and all kinds of stuff like that. And yeah, you get this like insane spike moment, and it's like holy, and you know, there's literal 10 stacks of divines on the ground, and you feel all excited about it. Sure, but the average minimum, nah, not good enough.
Now, let's get into the theory of how we create an abomination with a truly biblical amount of modifiers. The mechanic in the core of this whole shebang is as follows. When selecting a recipe for the remnant, you are no longer looking at the reward itself and its monetary value, you are looking at the runes it transfers. This here is a recipe from 4 runes, and one of them is gonna be passed along to all the other remnants in the chain. It is indicated by the yellow circle. This yellow circle doesn't stay in the same place. When selecting different rewards, it will jump around. To quickly check the runes, you can control-click the rewards. This way you can skim through them and evaluate. Before we even begin thinking of transferring the runes, we need to make sure one thing, that we have a good carry remnant. First thing you're gonna do when entering the map is go run around and check all of those remnants for their carry potential. What do I mean by carry potential? Not every map is gonna have a good carry remnant. There are two main factors making a remnant a valid carry. First one is the aforementioned
The Bond rune.
no
Bond rune.
equals no carry remnant. That's just an axiom. You cannot create a good loot explosion without a bond rune. This here remnant does have a bond rune, but it is still not a good remnant. Why? Well, because it only has 6 rune slots. What does the number of slots on the remnant determine? Well, it determines the number of waves we're gonna have from this remnant explosion. The total number of waves is the number of runes, so in this case 6 minus 2. Each wave is gonna inhibit one of its runes. The first wave is gonna have first 2 runes. Each following wave is gonna grab one wave, so wave 2 is gonna have this rune, and this rune. Wave 3 is gonna have all of those runes. Wave 4 is gonna have this, and wave 5 is gonna have this. As you can imagine, more runes equals more loot. Each wave, the remnant is gonna resurrect every mob that died on the previous wave. That begs the question, can we somehow increase the number of mobs that die? Yes, actually, we have some ways. To demonstrate, let's simulate a chain. For example, first I'm grabbing this remnant. This here rune, life rune, comes with us. That means that the next remnant I explode, this one, is gonna have a free life rune in front of it. So the wave 1 is gonna have life rune plus the first rune plus the second rune, and so on and so on. This here remnant, we're grabbing protective shields. Whoops, let me fix my life rune. There we go, that's our chain so far. This here remnant, we're gonna be grabbing the protective rune. Then let's grab the remnant all the way out here. I already checked, and it doesn't have anything I want to steal. Stealing 2 runes twice does nothing, so we just skip it for an additional mod. In this case, it's gonna be the momentum rune. And we go on to the next remnant. This remnant as well, we check everything to search for the runes we want. In this case, there is none. I should have picked a better map for this. So we just steal a rune for additional quant. And we have only two remnants left, one which is our carry, the amount of explosives, but this remnant doesn't yield any of the runes I want, so I don't care about it. And now our final remnant is gonna have all of those runes, plus the runes that are listed here, resulting in quite a lot of mobs. Now, let's go over which runes are desirable or even essential to cause big loot explosions. Well, first and first,
The Bond rune.
without it, the remnant is not gonna spawn any runes. Take a note here that this rune has to be native on a remnant. You cannot just transfer it. If you transfer it, it's not gonna spawn rares. My guess is that it's coded this way so that the Bond rune on the remnant does something, but it's clearly a little bit too much. Next rune that is very good, the Death rune, which states slain monsters may merge into stronger monsters. So what this does is a couple mobs die, they merge together. For example, 3 white mobs die, they merge into a blue. 3 blues die, they merge into a rare. And this rare is gonna be taken to the next wave, thus compounding and compounding. More waves, the more effect this has. The next important rune is the Time rune. If you can get your hands on it, you know that the final remnant encounter is gonna be juicy. Sometimes the final remnant itself is gonna have some of those runes. Oath rune. We have already stated that the quantity is very important. And this here is gonna kill monsters that are sometimes are gonna die with the combination of Death rune. Those two runes combine very well to produce a juicy encounter. Next rune, which is very important, but may not seem so, is Union of Souls. This actually has very good synergy with the Bond rune itself. When the rare monster transfer the mod, they also heal the nearest rare that they transfer the mod to. What the Union of Souls does is it makes sure that the health of all the rares are uneven and they don't die simultaneously. If the rares die instantly, the Bond rune cannot trigger and we lose on the modifiers and we lose on the juice. And for the same reason, the Life rune is very good. By having shared life, we cannot burst monsters anymore. While they do share damage, they still have uneven health pools, and that results in one-shots being less prone. One very important rune that is also very common because it's not purple, it's blue, is the Rebirth rune, which is chance to rebirth undead, which synergizes fantastically with the Time rune and with the Death rune. This combination is gonna spawn shits and shitstones of rares. An honorable mention is the Opulent rune. It just slightly increases the amount of rare monsters that is gonna spawn throughout the encounter, but honestly, it's not important, the Bond rune carries. So, here are all the important runes on the screen. On the top, we have a Bond rune. Without a Bond rune, we have nothing. On the left here, we have runes that are good to have regardless. If you see it, you should take it and choose your Bond rune remnant. And on the right here are rather optional, but pretty nice to have options, which, if you have one of those, the second one is not important, either Union of Souls or Shared Life. This doesn't increase the loot drastically, but it prevents you from accidentally killing your juice. As you can see, even though this was not nearly good enough of a juicy remnant or juicy passed down runes, it still produced quite a bit of rares that were tough to kill and a medium-sized loot explosions. Right there was a stack of 6 exalted orbs, which nothing to scoff at. Now, when we are done with the juice in theory, let's talk expedition. And how exactly would you pick them up to run this? Best case scenario, you run the strategy on an Aldur Saga. This right here guarantees juicy encounters. Like these ones, where Virtual Remnant have at least 5 rune slots, at least 5, or even at least 7 rune slots. This one will go crazy, pretty much guaranteed. It's gonna have either a fantastic reward or just a very juicy final encounter remnant, or even couple. It is very important how you unveil your Aldur Saga. Before doing so, you need to check all of those rumors. Each one of those rumors corresponds to a certain layout, unique map, or a boss encounter. Basically, what you want is to activate your Aldur Saga and hover over every single position where it can be activated. And what you want to see is 3 rumors that indicate there's a regular expedition layout. What this will do is it will guarantee that there is at least 3 maps in your saga. If you decide to unveil your Aldur Saga, for example, right here, there's a chance that it will only have 2 encounters, which sucks. But by unveiling, for example, here, no, that's not a good example. So this right here has a line, a good fellow. This indicates a nameless seer encounter. We don't want that. Let's see. But no, this is all rough. Oh, here it is. No, this once again has boss. Oh, there it is. These 3 lines called Desires, Endless Cliff, and Warmont Risky indicate 3 regular grand expeditions. This doesn't mean you're gonna have 3 exactly, you can have 3 or more. For example, in my Grand Saga right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 encounters. This is a Google Doc with all the rumors. So right here is the layout rumors. They are tiered, but you may not agree with this tier. For example, I really don't agree with this tier. I really like the Wild Roman free card. I like that. It's a warm card, and I do like the Nothing to Drink card, while the... what is it? Okay, those 2 I completely agree on. Well, you are expected to have your own opinion on layouts. Bosses and unique maps you want to avoid for purposes of activating Aldur Saga. The full list, the link to this list is going to be in the description. But the Aldur Saga is not the only way to run this strategy. What you can also do is just spam T15 cards, which is exactly what I'm gonna do right now to try and demonstrate a somewhat juicy encounter to you. What I did here is basically spam open to every map, run around looking for remnants, and if I didn't find any, place in explosives, and peace out. On my 3rd map, I found a decent carry remnant and started frantically looking for stuff to juice it. Unfortunately, no matter how hard I looked, there was pretty much nothing that could buff this good carry remnant. And I got unlucky with the remnant spawns. They were very far from each other, so I wasn't even able to catch all of them in the same exposures. This strategy is not a standalone strategy. Keep in mind that you are still prioritizing expedition rewards over the potential juicing. This is but a complement to the already existing rewards in the expedition. Oftentimes you would get something good, for example 8 slots, Fraud's Might, and it's gonna have a Bond rune in it. This is just an opportunity to squeeze that extra loot out of your expeditions. Here's a really good example of that. This map, I have gotten Astrid's Creativity, one of the best rewards from the expedition. It's worth about 30 divines right now. But without the knowledge of juicing and the Bond rune, I would have tried buffing this remnant in order to be disappointed by the lackluster spawns without rares. But knowing that without the Bond rune it's basically futile to juice anything, I can just grab an Astrid's and peace out, saving me a lot of time in the process. On about my 15th map, I've finally gotten something that I can work with. Another juicy remnant that has the Bond rune, Betrayal of Aldur. It also comes built in with the Union of Souls rune and the Empower rune, which I didn't mention previously, but from what I understand, the purple runes give a decent bonus to quality. So now it's time to choose this bad boy and see what we have. Right away, I have gotten a good hit of the Opulence rune, which gives increased monster rarity. That's a +1. Next up, I have hit Shared Life, which in hindsight wasn't an ideal choice, but I was happy at the moment. Next rune I was very happy to see is the off rune, the one that spawns allies. If we were able to get a death rune at this point, this would have been an amazing remnant. Unfortunately, the last one was kind of a dud. We're just passing by the blue rune for an extra mod. It's not the greatest thing that I wanted to showcase, but it's getting quite late and I wanna finish this video for the start of tomorrow. So you're gonna have to do with this semi decent loot explosion that I was able to scrounge. Hopefully this video gave you some insight as to how you could possibly juice the remnants and what's going on inside the mind of someone who probably spent too much time figuring out the runes, reading them, and theory crafting different combinations.